say, Cosma, name me one person in the book of Oahspe that's corroborated by history, besides the dentist from Dakota, besides Marlboro. Okay, give me one period in time. Give me one period in time.
Wait, I'm trying to get your question correct. Yo, name one person in Oahspe that corroborates with history.
That is corroborated by history, and all of that stuff that is talking about, all these fairies and
I'll name you one
different archangels and all this stuff and kings from other places. Name one.
Let me answer your question direct. Yeshua.
See what I'm saying?
Yeshua.
See how they like to do spin-off TV shows? Let's not do no spin-offs.
Wait, hold on.
Create your own show.
Before you get to talking,
don't grab the Bible. Grab something from your Oahspe. But go ahead.
You asked me a question. All right, let me give you another one. Zarathustra. I'll give you another one. Iowata. I'll give you another one.
Explain who is Iowata. Who is Iowata?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked who Iowata was, boy, because you need to know. Trust me, you're going to be happy about this. So during the same time that Abraham was living over in Africa, teaching the light of the Creator.
So Abraham is real.
What?
So Abraham is a real person.
Wait, hold on. Why you interrupt me like a child when you ask me a question?
I'm asking you. So you're saying Abraham is real?
Correct. And he's an Oahspe too, by the way.
Okay, go ahead.
Abraham is a historical person. And then you got, like I said, during the time of Abraham, while he was in Africa, during that same time, he was teaching the truth of the Creator. Iowata was, guess where? Teaching the same things. Guess where Iowata is from? Just take a while again. America.
You see what I'm saying? See how we diving into fantasy? Show me any archaeological evidence about Iowata.
A real person here. Iowata is a real prophet on the same level as Abraham. They're contemporary prophets. And Iowata is from here. He's from America. But you didn't know that because you don't read Oahspe. But he's a real person who taught.
They want to talk about a comic book and this straight up out of
Huh?
Where can we find this information at?
You can find it. First of all, you can find it in Oahspe for sure. Look up Iowata. I got other little texts that talk about Iowata. They changed his name in popular books to Hiawatha. So if you ever heard of a man named Hiawatha, it's actually pronounced Iowata, right? And he was a praiser of the Great Spirit, and he taught: don't kill, don't steal, love your neighbor as yourself.
How
you said what?
How you spell his name? How you spell his name?
Hold on, let me go get the old real quick. Let me go get my Oahspe. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Y'all can rap real quick. Give me like 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man, that's wild, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like once, like, okay, you have what you say about the Bible and your biasness and your dislike. Hold on. Your biasness and your dislike for the Bible will have somebody come up and just say something that don't make no sense and you amen it just because you don't like the Bible. That's why y'all losing, bro.
Hey, listen, time out.
Oh, go ahead.
Because when y'all get the Bible out the way and y'all start talking about what y'all believe in, it'd be crazy.
Hold on, Cosmo. Before you go real fast, let me say this. Let me come up and I say this. I don't believe none of these doctrines. I don't care if it's the Oahspe, the King James Version, the Quran, the Jewish Bible. I don't believe in none of them.
No, but this what I'm saying, Humble. You on the bus, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's a short bus. I'm just saying you on the bus, right? And whoever you lit on, no matter where they going, they got to have some type of information that's valid. They just can't come on the bus, say the moon made of cheese, and you be like, yeah, come on, let's ride. Because just from you letting them on the bus, just from you letting them on the bus, you amening whatever they're saying.
How the moon was made.
So that's what I'm saying, Humble. This is what I'm saying. This is why the conscious community is losing. Y'all ride the bus and y'all let anybody get on the bus. Nature Boy, Polite, Young Pharaoh, it don't matter. And when y'all get the Bible out the way and y'all sit down on that bus and talk about what y'all talk about, that's what y'all get, bro.
Hey, what you
Praying for
talking
y'all,
about?
bro.
You ain't talking about nothing. What you talking
But
about? You
let
talking
me
about nothing?
respond.
Go ahead.
Let
Go
me
You
ahead,
talking
respond
about
to
nothing?
Gideon
Cosmo.
before you jump on him. I think that what you just mentioned is the same across all faiths and spirituality. That problem that you're talking about with the brother polites and the pharaohs, that's a human
Yeah,
problem. It's not a conscious community problem. Like
yeah.
we have a whole
Mhm.
man. You know how many investigations for decades that they've had on people in the church touching people
Come on,
and
man.
doing weird stuff.
Your pastor, nigga.
Uh, no,
The
hold
Vatican
on, hold on, hold
City.
on, hold on. Don't do that when I'm talking, please, though. And it's, I know you don't know, but to me, I don't want you to co-sign and instigate because I'm not about to be rude and disrespectful, and I don't want you to do it
I
over
got you.
top
I
of
got you.
me.
I
And
feel
then
you.
when he responds to me unkind because
I
maybe
got you.
your
My
ad
bad.
libs a little
Salute,
bit.
salute.
No, it's okay though. I know.
But I'm just waiting for you so I can read
Yeah,
this here. Watch
I
it.
don't want him to feel like I'm jumping him because you. I'm gonna say it respectfully
No,
though.
it's peace. It's all
Yeah.
balanced. I got you. I'm with
And dang, where was I at? Yeah, it's
He
people
was talking
across
about
all
everybody
walks
mess
of.
up.
Yeah, everybody messes up. It's not like the conscious community got a monopoly on weirdos. We don't. Like it's everywhere. Actually, it's disappointing when it happens here. Of course, I'm sure y'all feel the same way when like some of y'all people do
that.
some weird stuff. We all be disappointed. But I think it's unfair to throw the conscious community under the bus in that fashion because we do have some weirdos that did
But
some
that was
weird
just a
stuff.
deflection. That was just a way he was trying to deflect from my facts I'm about to bring out about Iowata anyway. Like I
Okay,
said,
and
Hey,
I'll
bro.
fall back though.
Watson.
Actually, I'll let Gideon respond before I pass it around.
Yeah, and I'll say this real quick, A1. You know it's all love, my brother, with all
Yeah,
y'all, bro.
it's all
Humble, you
love.
know, even Cosmo, even is a waspy fellow, man. But say, bro, what the difference is the Bible is the standard. I don't represent no man, I don't represent no affiliated groups or anything. Now, when you show me in the Bible that the most high is saying do something wrong, then I can
I
take
can
that
show you that.
L.
Easy way. I can easily show you that. Easy
So
way. I can show you that with the quickness. Matter of fact, let's go there
why
first
are you
before we even go to
interrupting me,
Iowata.
bro?
Let's go into the
Why
Bible.
why are you
We ain't
interrupting me,
gotta go to
Cosmo?
Owaski. Let's talk about the Bible since
Hold
that's what we're
on.
Let,
Let
talking
me
about.
let
let him
me let
finish
me
The
land
praying.
my
Bible is
plane.
oh,
Let him
go
Let
ahead.
finish
me
praying.
let me land my
I'm on your
plane,
top, but go ahead. Land
and
your plane. I'm gonna
then
shoot
you
it
can
down
go to
anyway.
some more obscure sources. Talk about this Iowata fellow who nobody in history probably even know about. But
I've never heard
so
of him
that's
either. I
that's
would
No,
again.
that's
you don't know about it.
that's
It's
that's
your
what I'm
show.
saying. A1.
You're
It's like
uneducated.
it is
You don't know what
written.
you're talking about. Actually,
That's what a
Let him
true
land. Let him
Israelite go
land.
by. A true Israelite go by what is written. We don't follow no man. We don't
nigga,
we
true
don't we
Israelites
don't
don't
let no
even
man walk
follow a
around here
book.
talk about he know 8, 9 languages and never ask the nigga to say one of them.
You
You know
are
what I'm saying?
Leviticus. You
Nah,
are
we
Leviticus.
need
Cosmo,
You're
we
not
need
an
you to source
Israelite.
that up.
the more
But
you
go ahead.
cut him off, the
He's
longer it
erratic,
takes
bro.
for you to get the floor back.
All right, we
Right.
debating.
That's how they treat
Look,
drooks,
let's
bro.
debate it. We're
I'm a
gonna set up
drook
a
to this
debate.
dude, bro.
The
We're
more
gonna
you
set up a
cut him
debate.
off, the longer it takes for you to get the floor back, Cosmo. And
Yeah, I
then
know.
y'all ended
I
up
ain't worried about
then
it.
y'all
Go ahead.
ended up just going back and forth with half sentences
All
over
right,
each
I
other
ain't worried about
instead
it.
of
Go.
you actually being. I want you to be able to cook. I
All
don't
right,
want you to throw the little feather punches that ain't landing.
gotcha.
Right.
Ain't nothing gonna land if both of y'all talking at the
Yeah,
same time.
I'm gonna sever his head from his body. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Cosmo. I mean, Gideon, and then
Nah,
yeah,
go ahead, bro. Cause the dude seemed to can't contain himself. So go ahead, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to shoot your guy down again. So we're gonna start with the Bible since you're talking about show me in the Bible where God did something wrong. Okay,
No, I
boom.
said show me in the WASP any historical figure. You
No, I
going
know.
to
I already that's
Zarathustra
why
and
I
all
told
these
you.
events.
I already mentioned a few in Owaski. We're gonna get to that. I'm gonna put my finger on there just so you know. We in Owaski the historical prophets listed that we can name. We know Zarathustra, Poe. We know Abram. We know Brahma. Huh? No. I'm headed there. I'm on the phone now. We know Brahma. We know Iowata. We know Moses, Capilia. All them. Thoth is in there. All these Negroes is in Owaski, and they're real people. All right, documented. We know the emerald tablets of Thoth, right? You know who Thoth is, right? That ain't no imaginary person. That's a real man, and that's in Owaski. So I already debunked that. Knock that out the air. Now let's get to your evil ass demon monster god. Okay, let's go over here. Let me show this Levitican that he ain't even an Israelite for real. He think he an Israelite, but he not. All right, so we're gonna go to the book of Samuel, chapter 1, verse 15. I'm sorry, chapter 15, verse 1. And it reads, Samuel also said to Saul, the Lord, that's yo Yahweh, he sent me to anoint you king over his people. over Israel. Now therefore heed the voice of the words of your Lord. Thus says the Lord of hosts, I will punish Amalek for what they did to Israel, how he ambushed him on the way when he came out from Egypt. Now go and attack Amalek. This is the Lord telling Saul, go attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, infant and nursing child, ox and sheep, camel and donkey. Wait, go back up a little taste. It said infant and nursing child. Now, if you think that that's not a bad thing, then you a weirdo. You in more darkness than you even understand. Because the creator that we all serve, that's in the Owaski Bible, tell you my inspiration is to not kill anything that I gave the breath of life to. So when you get the unction in your heart to not kill, that's the creator's voice to you. But when you feel like you got to justify your evil demon God's murderous tactics, then you, my brother, are a dupe. So whenever you're ready to debate what you just asked me, whether your God can do evil, it has done evil in your book, we can debate that. I got objective sources. You ready, Gideon? Go ahead. Speak your mind, brother.
So I'm gonna be real fast. I see the sister
example.
Issa Queen. I see the sister Issa Queen come on. So I'm gonna try to be real fast with this, bro. I'm gonna answer this in two parts, bro. So this just shows the type of cloudy haze mentally you will be in when you're reading the OAS, because you never get anything clear and concise. So in the Bible, we have people like Pontius Pilate, we have Taharka, we have Shalmaneser II, we have Xerxes. These are real people in history that's corroborated by the biblical text, which is why it baffles me when Humble would say the Bible isn't historical. Is it a history book in its totality? Of course not. It's probably one of the only type of books of its kind. But when it speaks of historical matters, it's definitely a history book. So that's what I'm saying, Cosmon. I'm not asking about no Zarathustra, who's a quasi mythological figure with no contemporary sources on this, brother. That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you? I see how you come to your conclusions, but it's real bad and it's real problematic because it's not based in reality. So that's as far as like the historical people in the Bible versus the Oaspi who Maribor wrote, that dude Maribor. Now, as far as when you're saying the evil that the Most High did, so a lot of things you say or people say when they speaking or when I'm speaking, it should beg the question. So now I'm begging the question from you: where was your God antennas when all this is happening? Because this really happens in the world. Death, murder, genocide, all this happens. So now I'm gonna lay this at the feet of your God. So why is your God allowing all this to happen, Cosmon? Go ahead.
He fell off for a second. I'm sure he'll be right back up here.
Yeah, that's crazy. Shalom, sister.
Shalom. It's a queen next. I was gonna say, I hear how he talking with fire. I don't know if you heard you did hear my show the other day. I used to talk like him and slide the insults in there, like you're a dupe, but it's not positive. And just because I disagree with you on the information, I mean, I gotta slight you and continue to slide a little insults in. I just think because I know it's gonna end up turning the other person up, unless that's what he wanted. So when you do start popping off and insulting him back, like he got to remember, like, you slide all that stuff in there. You don't got to say that y'all slow at the end. Just explain why you think it's incoherent. Like
the Aboriginals and the Owaspy, that's one of their tactics. But like, I like to know why people think what they think, and a lot of times it be a psychological issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what it be a lot of times. People just, like, just because you got internet, Wi-Fi, and a smartphone don't mean like you really know what you're talking about just because you act like you know what you're talking about. So
It's a queen. You got the floor.
Peace, peace. Yeah, I agree with what Gideon said. I also agree with partially when he was talking about the historical accuracy. I believe that the Bible is based on a true story. You know, like how Amityville horror is kind of based on it. Like they got the names right, but all of their events are subjected to ridicule. But I do believe that there are some factual things that's happening in the Bible. Even when you talk about like them going from place to place and, you know, murdering people and tearing down their idols, like you can see the archaeological, you know, evidence of that. So they were really doing what they was doing. You're not gonna act like that, but I think that on both sides of the conversation, we could leave room for, you know, accuracy, because we know that, you know, a lot of people aren't reading the Bible in its entirety to get the full understanding of it. And then when it comes to people who believe in the Bible, they're not necessarily coming out of their comfort zone to understand the history behind it. So I think that everybody has some growing that they need to do when it comes to this conversation.
like, and I don't see myself when I say this as being subjective. I'm looking at this totally objective, but you know, that's subjective in of itself. But the Bible versus the Quran and versus the Book of Owaspy, and it's crazy because he was talking about some Shakespearean type of talk. The Bible is more coherent and more easily to follow along than either one of those books. I've tried reading the Quran. It's all over the place. And God knows I tried reading the Owaspy. It's like you could tell this was written somewhere in the Wild Wild West while this dude was hopped up on some type of, like, it's just crazy. Like, you can't even sit down. Like, if you sit down and read one page of that and be like, oh yeah, I know what he's talking about, you lying. And you just won't fall for anything because it makes no sense. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous.
I want to check it out. I still haven't found the time to read it. I know it's a book I definitely want in my collection. I want every piece of literature, spiritual literature in my library. So I need one. But coming soon. I'm gonna break it down.
Yeah. And I heard the brother Humble speak about the Bronze Age collapse. If you was to study Israelite culture and the history of Israel, he would know, even scholars attest to that fact, that there was this is actually speaking towards Israel being sovereign in that land at that time. Because when you look at the preceding events that happened before that we see in the Armana letters that led up to the Bronze Age collapse, it all makes sense. It goes with the narrative in the Bible, the conquest of Canaan by Joshua. When we see the just the different archaeological sites. Some argue Jericho for us, some argue against us. So, I mean, you know, along with the fact that when you look in our Constitution or our laws, we're instructed to not be a materialistic people. We're instructed not to make any, like, you know, statues of our rulers or, you know, people of that nature. So you're not going to find that in the archaeological record because it's not there. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that we didn't do that, because a lot of our kings, more than 85% of them was paid, like was heathens. So they might have had that. But, you know, going by what the book says, you can see why we wouldn't have those things, because it's instructed for us not to have it. And that Bronze Age collapse coincides with the United Kingdom of Israel. So I don't know why he would mention a Bronze Age collapse. Yeah, but you know, I mean, scientifically, like when I had the debate with Cosmon. I mean, there's all type of sciences in the Bible: agricultural, behavioral science, biology. You know, even when I had the debate with Issa Queen, I was showing how what she looked at as a slight was primitive, scientific approaches to population. You know what I'm saying? So, it's all in the Bible, man. These people just be saying this to just gaslight, but when you sit down and really look at it, you see that's not the case.
It's a queen. Want to respond to that?
Nah, I think she gone.
Oh, she dropped off? I'm
Yeah,
over here in my email looking up something.
yeah.
Okay.
So humble, don't you ever in your life put that on a thumbnail again. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm quite sure you probably had to bounce, but don't do that, bro. Appreciate your A1
Mine
baby.
is
Come
back.
on. Yeah, man. Let's see what this guy got. What's up, my brother?
Oh man, my bad. My phone died. Okay, the false guy's trying to keep me from shooting this light off. This reality. It's crazy,
You
man.
got
But
power like that over your phone?
actually, no.
Yeah, you hear
But
what you heard of Gideon? Giving credit to your guys.
Yeah,
power.
it is what it is. All crazy.
I can only imagine the amount of foolishness that Gideon was spewing when I was gone. But I'm glad I got a chance to not hear it, so I didn't have the urge to interrupt or interject. He could just get it off. So now I can talk.
At least you know what you need to work on, though. You just
I
said
already know. But I do. But to be honest with you, I have an extreme amount of decorum. I just be messing. I like to mess because I it is what it is.
I ain't mad at you. You usually don't take it overboard, so you good.
Yeah, no, I can pull back the reins at any time. Self-control, man. But yeah. But like I was saying, man, it's just the reality of I understand, my brother Gideon been in church his whole life, reading Bible, all this. So have I. My grandfather was a pastor, my daddy was a pastor, my brother is a pastor now, my brother-in-law is currently pastoring the church. So I come up reading the Bible studies and BTU meetings in and out of church all week long since birth. You know what I mean? And I still play guitar for a church right now. So
yeah, I need a concert from you too, brother. I'm serious about that.
Yeah. I'm gonna come and do a whole presentation for real. And like I said, Gideon, if you really want to debate, I don't gotta be nice to you. You know what I'm saying? We can really get down. Because the reality is the creator is everywhere with all of us right now. And he ain't never gonna inspire you to off a child. So that inspiration is objective to your soul. You could feel that. If you saw your God appear to you right now and tell you, I want you to go kill this Edomite child because he's an Edomite, would you do that? The answer should be, of course not. And if it's not, of course not, then my brother, like I said before, you are so seriously duped by this biblical deity pump faking to be the creator of all love, life, liberty, harmony, and happiness. He's not. Because that wouldn't even be in there. You see that? Because what's in there concerning the true creator's character, what is in the Bible that speaks of his character is that his inspiration is, thou shalt not kill. So if the creator is telling you in the 10 commandments, thou shalt not kill, and then turn around and tell you to kill an innocent suckling child, what's going on here? But if you had the OASP, my brother, if you really sat down and read earth, sky, spirit, right, and took some time to hang out with your brother Cosmon and the creator gang, you would actually understand that even in the Bible, when Abraham was so-called tempted by what the Bible make you feel like it's the creator, but it wasn't. OASP tells you that was a low-grade angel that came up to Abraham and told him to offer up Isaac as a sacrifice. You see that? And Abraham checked that low-grade angel and told him, hey, homie, prove to me that you really God, because I've been commanded not to kill, especially not my own son. And then at that moment, the spirit departed away from Abraham, perceiving that he knew the higher law of the creator, which is don't kill nothing. Don't go to war. You're not supposed to do that. So if God is telling you that in any book, I don't care if it's Bible, Quran, whatever spiritual text you reading, like my brother Humble Salute say, I don't believe none of that shit. None of them books, as you should not. You should be able to think for yourself and know the creator to your soul telling you, bro, no. You know that voice in the back of your head that you call conscience? That's not just your conscience speaking. That is Jah. That's Jehovah. That is our Heavenly Father ever present with every man and woman and child on the earth. See that? OASP tells you that. It tells you that what men in darkness, what they call conscience, is actually the voice of the directly directly upon you. You feel that?
Hey, Gideon, you see what I got pulled up, right? I only had one judge y'all debate. I'm not about to play it. I've never even listened to this, but I have the results. But it was only one judge. It was Ill Doctor, and he judged it. He's one of the most professional judges that I have between him and my dad. But one day we can play this and see what he says about the debate. He gave a real in-depth response, he said, as he always does, though. Again, I've never listened to this, so I don't even know what his judgment is. But I don't want to play it right now. I just wanted to let you know we do have it. So whenever you want to do a show on it or set that stream up, just let me know.
Yeah, maybe we can get Cosmine on and everything too, you know.
Yeah. Because I know, yeah, because you put on one of the best performances I've ever seen on my page against Cosmine, man. You had that question and answer round was crazy. That shit was fire.
Oh, where? Are you talking? Is this for me and Issa Queen debate?
No, this was for Cosmine dropped off again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, this was for you and Cosmine.
Okay, yeah, that'll be.
That's what made me think about it, because I'm like, man, he already went against one of the creator gang, and like,
yeah, man, I'm wanting to make sense, man.
But Ill Doctor definitely gave a verdict on that. So,
okay,
you know, one of the most respected voices on the internet when it comes to auditing the arguments. Shout out to that brother as well. He's probably working, listening right now. He stays tapped in. Everybody give him a round of applause. I'm going to do a results show for the finals tomorrow. He judged both of the finals debates.
Okay.
So, yep, I'm going to do that. I really was focusing on the tournament because I got so overwhelmed. So that's why I stopped the judging on the exhibition debates. I just didn't have the infrastructure and the necessary help that I needed to do everything and then still maintain my life. Like I got a daughter, I'm a store I'm running. It's a lot. But I still think I do amazing considering I've gotten us this far. So
yeah, man, that's a lot of work for one person, man.
Shout out my team though, man. They've been stepping up a lot lately. I appreciate it. It's the Queen. Oh no, that's Ben Eaton. How you feeling?
Hey, peace to the panel. Hey, A1 and Gideon. Hey, I'm gonna jump down. I can only hear you, A1, so I'm gonna jump down and get on my computer.
Okay, bet.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Cosmine said something and then I jumped in before you could respond, Gideon. I don't know if you remember what he was talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he was just speaking about his book of Owaspy, man. It's, you know, my grandfather, he used to like to read a lot of different, you know, spiritual books, and you know, it's just one of them type of books, man, where it's like with that Near Eastern, Indian, Hinduish, you know, type of, you know what I'm saying? Like the European got their hands on it, and you know, some of them just went too far with it, which is obvious from this guy, and you know, it's just crazy, man. Like I say, man, there's no coherent thoughts within that, man. You can't go 3 sentences deep before you just be confused. And what a lot of times people do is they be scared to say they don't understand what they reading. So whatever the person be telling them, so they won't seem dumb, they be like, oh, okay, yeah, I see it, and don't see none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. It's just simple, man.
You got a crazy echo.
I thought that was J7000 or a Owaspy killer. I was about to say, damn. Well, yeah, Cosmine, you breaking up. Can't hear you. Yeah, I know. Owaspy got your tongue. I know, bro.
What's the word,
Oh, what's good? What that is? King Day Shalom. No.
Shalom, Ben. What's going on?
What's up, family?
What y'all building on?
Well, Humble had a show on, whether the Bible is a historical book or scientific. He was saying it was neither. He jumped off. I don't know what happened to him, but
I just wanted to throw out there in response to Gideon, as far as conversation about Israelites and the Judites being pagans. It was just their culture. Like, I know what we see in the biblical text is what we see in the biblical text, but historically and archaeologically, this is simply just their culture. What the biblical texts attempt to do later is to polemicize these things that they deem an issue, but it's an issue because they are writing these texts to suit the needs and the theological views of their time. But historically, archaeologically, ancient Israel were polytheistic. It was the norm in the ancient world.
somebody got Fleetwood Mac playing.
That's true. Oh, you can hear that? Turn that down a little bit, huh? I don't want to turn it all the way down.
Yeah, but I think I heard King J say that was true, but I would have to disagree with that. That's based on a minimalist approach to the information, which I could respect. You have that perspective, but like I say, that would be considered minimalist. So
That's not minimalist. That's facts.
That's okay. Well, see the issue with using these terms, minimalist and maximalist, is that basically anybody at any time can be a minimalist or a maximalist. I'm gonna give you an example. One of my favorite scholars and archaeologists is William G. Deaver. Depending on what you're reading, you will call Deaver a minimalist. But if you read something else or something like compare like Solomon and David, the conversations of are they historical and all, he would be a maximalist. So I understand that you might not understand how to use these terms, but to call me a minimalist or to say that that's just a minimalist view, that's the consensus view. That's the consensus view. That's the consensus view amongst the majority, amongst the vast majority of scholars, to the point where we don't even have these conversations in scholarship anymore.
Right.
Like conversations about the Exodus. If you read Professor Carol Meyer's book, she explains perfectly the conversation that scholars even have. They don't even talk about trying to find a historical Exodus, rather trying to understand how the story developed, how this story developed within the text, how the text developed. That's more of an important conversation to scholars, because there's absolutely,
And that is
an obvious point that there's nothing there. You feel me?
and that's the point that I was trying to bring out, that a lot of it is not factually proven. You see what I'm saying? Historically, even though there are historical people that they mention, but not all of every part of that can be said to be historical, a historical document.
So there is history in the Bible.
Of course, there's history in it.
Okay.
There's history, but it got to be a case by case.
Case by case, for sure.
Right, because if
but more importantly, like you were saying, was how did it come to? I was saying more importantly, what you were saying was how was it compiled? That's when you start thinking about that, then you're gonna get into a whole nother world.
Yeah, and for scholars, this is an amazing conversation. It's only for the faithful that it gets a little different.
Right.
But for scholarship,
but see that's what I'm saying.
But to make it
So
simple,
all the history that we have in regards to the nation of Israel's, scholars don't say that that's not true. Again,
correct.
and you're saying something about I don't know the term minimalist or maximalist. Is more or less when you're speaking biblically, you have an approach. That's what that means. So yeah, your whole conclusion is very minimalist. And you can definitely look that up and see it, because, like I say, it's too much archaeological evidence for you to just say that Israel didn't exist. So
we're not saying that. We're not saying that.
That's not what I said, but I got you. Hold on. About the minimalist and maximalist point. My point was saying that you're calling me a minimalist because that's just an apologetic excuse to throw me into like they just skeptical of the book. Or they just,
Guilty
and
by
that's
association
unfair.
tactic.
That's unfair because if you're using that term inappropriately, right? So at any other point, if I was to say, oh yeah, Hezekiah existed, blah, blah, blah,
But
and all
you're
that
saying
stuff,
points. That's why you gotta listen. Listening is an art. I said
But now
you're
I'm an
in
minimalist because I
totality.
disagree with what you're already pre-held
Your
belief. You
your
simply
whole
saying I'm using
summation.
the term.
That's what I'm saying. Your whole summation in its conclusion is very minimalist.
Because I disagree with you. That's why you just called
No,
me a minimalist.
But
no,
what I was
no, not at all. You took offense to it because when
No,
a
I don't
person
take offense.
makes
I
that,
just think
when a
you're
person is
misappropriating the term.
called a minimalist, it a lot of times it means that they're just trying to, skate out information when it seems
Right. That's
problematic,
how you
and they
take the term
just
that
go
is
with the
for
flow.
you.
So I can see why you would be offended by it, but I
Well,
mean
the thing is,
what it is.
like you
No,
said,
that's
Gideon,
exactly what I'm saying,
like you
Gideon.
said, you got to focus on the actual archaeological evidence that we have that we can see, right? So we know that the Israelites existed. Nobody's arguing if the Israelites existed or not. We know that that's historical fact. Matter of fact, many of us come from that same stock. But the thing is, when you look at the history of Yeshua and look at how he lived, his culture, it was vastly different from the Levitical priests who were ruling over the temple. Yeshua's lifestyle was vastly different, culturally speaking. So he was the one telling you, stop listening to the Pharisees, nigga. And not only him, but the prophets before him was saying, hey, y'all following something else. You need to repent. The prophets was telling these niggas, our ancestors, what you say is Israel. He been saying this for years. Now I'm telling you, the Creator is ever present with you, even outside of a book that may have been tampered with by whoever, Babylonians, Romans, whoever done touched it, Americans, and tampered with the Bible itself. Don't matter. I don't care if they burn every Bible on the planet. You still know to your soul to love your neighbor as yourself, outside of any book.
That's false.
See what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying,
false.
period.
That's very false.
That's not false, nigga. So you don't know not to kill nobody without the Bible? If you never read the Bible, you would just be out here murdering people? That's what you're trying to tell me?
The Bible
Gideon?
is epigenetically in my bones, my brother. But
The Bible is epigenetically in your bones. That's what you just said.
There are people in this world not only would
You worship the
disagree
book
with
then.
you,
That's
but
what you're
show
showing
you
me.
that they disagree with you. But go
Listen,
ahead,
I'm gonna tell you this. What I'm showing you right now, objectively, what I'm telling you is, if every Bible on the planet was burned, every book in the book, spiritual text was burned, right? Would you stop worshiping the Creator through good works and services unto others? Would you stop because the books are burned? If so, my nigga, you worship a book. You get that?
Not honestly, because
If you don't get that, that's
you're-
on you, my nigga. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's whatever. You can argue all you want. Like I said, debate me on this so I can get paid, because we get paid to debate. We get paid $50. I need that $50 to debate me on it. We'll let the audience choose who wins the debate, because we get $50 to debate. I need that money then.
well, you can win.
Debate me on it. Let's get bread.
You'll win.
We
the
both
screaming
gonna get paid
contest.
either way. We both gonna get paid either way, win or lose. So you might as well take the debate.
You'll win the screaming contest for sure.
I'm gonna win based on screaming facts, proving you wrong. Period, nigga. I can tell you right now. I'm being easy. I'm being nice to you right now. I'm telling you. I promise you. I promise you. Because what I'm trying to tell you is that it don't matter what book you read, bro. The Creator is still gonna tell you, because He's not bound to no book. He's ever present in all creation, and He speaks to your soul.
But what if people don't
through
believe
the trees,
in
through the birds singing in the morning when you wake up, when you smell your stinking breath, and He tell you clean yourself? Why?
And that's a objective truth.
Yeah, I think something happened to his audio, but since he's frozen, go ahead and get in there, because he asked you a question and he kind of cut you off. But
no, we good. I really was wanted to get at Gideon, because Gideon was trying to make a point. I just wanted to get some more clarity about what Gideon was actually talking about.
Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
You got the floor.
With you and Ben, what was the discussion y'all going back and forth about?
Gideon called me a minimalist because I disagree with certain points of his religious beliefs.
Right. So you don't know what a minimalist is. Let me tell you what a minimalist is.
No, Gideon, you don't.
A minimalist is a person who takes the biblical narrative and the information and looks at it at its most scholarly least level, if you know, speaking laymanly. Like, for instance, they would say the nation of Israel was nothing more. You believe it was a chiefdom, probably, right? Or like just a big tribe, right?
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I subscribe to Israel's Finkelstein and Aaron Mayer's view, Mahi Mazar's view. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's a minimalist view. So I don't know why you would be offended by that, but I didn't mean to offend you, my brother. But I was just saying.
No, you didn't offend me, but I just wanted to clarify that depending on what you're saying, I would be a minimalist and then I'll be a maximalist. So you're using
I think in that term.
Yeah, and I don't know all your points. That's why I say like your summation.
That's why I'm saying the label is nonsense, because I can be a minimalist one point and I can be a maximalist the other. So to use it in such a strict way would be a nonsense way. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So you just don't like the terms at all. I mean, that's understandable.
I mean, it's fine, brother. You can say it if you want to. I'm just clarifying. I mean, that's it. That's all. Yeah, you want to call me a minimalist, call me a minimalist. But I mean, the points still stand. I'd rather deal with the data than to deal with the terms.
Yeah, and the data definitely shows that, you know, it's nothing speaking against a kingdom of Israel that amassed up to about 3 million people in the first century definitely existed. Like, it's too much evidence otherwise.
Well, seeing that case, I would say, where's your physical evidence that shows 3 million people leaving from? Where's that evidence?
Well, Josephus speaks of up to 3 million people.
He's talking about the Roman wars. Josephus is not talking about something that happened.
The Exodus
2,000 years ago.
I'm speaking of the destruction of Jerusalem.
Wait, I thought
now, when you look at the Exodus, the Bible says it has 300,000 fighting men. So when you add up the children and the wives and the elderly, you definitely get a range of 1.5 to 3 million.
Well, King J asked you what's the evidence, and you said Josephus.
Yes, in regards to the destruction of Jerusalem.
No, the Exodus.
No, not the Exodus.
That's what I'm talking about.
Those numbers come from the Bible. I'm talking about 3 million people. I'm talking about
I know, but what's your evidence for the Exodus in the Bible, according to them? So you say close to 1.2 million people died because they died.
You're not listening. You're not listening.
I'm not.
No. You mixing up 70. You mixing up the destruction of Jerusalem with the Exodus. With what I said.
Well, I want to specifically talk about the Exodus now. I don't want to talk about Jerusalem. I want to specifically talk about the Exodus and the 1.2 million that mixed multitude that left out. Is there any physical evidence of any mass graves or any bodies of that 1.2 million?
Yeah, nah. The only evidence you're gonna get from that is the biblical sources.
So why is there no historical evidence?
Well, I mean,
we found
the evidence isn't the evidence of absence. The Sinai Desert where they sojourned for 40 years, that's not even 2% of that's been excavated. So
that's not fair, Gideon. That's not fair, because you can say the evidence of absence. I get it, I understand, but to lack absolutely no evidence in areas where you would expect evidence is very striking. Mm-hmm. That's a major point than to say, well, the evidence of absence is not the absence. Compared to the claim that you guys make, right? Compared to the claim you make, to lack that amount of evidence is very striking.
Especially the sensational stuff.
Why I say
you agree that's what scholars say. That's a reasonable assessment for scholars to make.
Yeah, that's definitely something they hold against the nation. But again, like I said, the area where the Israelites sojourned for 40 years, that hasn't been excavated in totality. You know, in some areas, Where
do you subscribe that the event happens at? I subscribe it happened at Sarah B. El Kadem.
Well, I would say they was in the Sinai Peninsula.
That's why I gave you the exact location.
Yeah,
Cherubim El Kadim, the turquoise mine,
I
right?
would say
right.
it happened,
Mhm.
but
Well, they
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, if it did happen, that's where I'm, leaning towards it because that's where we find the Proto-Sinaitic script.
right. We see, and some scholars, such as Dr. Petrovic, he
Uh-huh.
speaks of what they actually say, and it speaks of Ephraim and Manasseh being in those areas, which will make sense.
Where I
Pet,
don't think it. I haven't heard of
Petrovic,
that.
his
Yeah.
translations been widely discredited.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not quite
it's
sure of
like
that.
that's why I say you can get some that say yes and some say no. So
No, every like okay, think about Christopher Rolston, which Garfield just spoke about last week, who is probably the number one epigrapher in the world.
yeah, I'm familiar with what you're talking about.
He absolutely ruins Christopher Rolston. What's his name? Petrovic's claims of Sinai 150, 115 Moses in the Sinai inscriptions.
Man, hold on.
All the things that Kasai was saying and everything.
Exactly.
all
I'm
the
just
claims
going to
you
say,
guys
hold
make.
on, don't let people.
These are old claims. This is why
Oh, shit.
Garfield always say you guys are stuck in 2007 because these are old, outdated claims.
Man, I think it was like 1931.
These are old claims that I have like a list of work on. I'm ready for.
Let me, hold on. Let me look at my notes on that somewhere. Mm-hmm.
Gideon, so you disagree that polytheism was originally ancient Israelite and Judaic, that was originally their culture, and that the biblical text is actually doing a later polemic against that? You don't agree to that?
No, I don't agree to that. I agree that
Can you tell
in
me
their
why?
in their formation, they were quote unquote monotheistic people. Now, like I said, they've since the beginning they've delved into idolatry because basically the whole world delved into idolatry. Like the whole world at one point will worship the creator, one creator, but they all corrupted themselves. That's why we see people mistaking El and thinking El is Yah. Like they confused,
Are you
because
Can you give me your origin of Yahweh? What is his origin?
he has no origin. You talking about like as far as like scholarly and historically, like
I mean,
archaeology?
like, when did he pop up in history?
just
Well,
exactly.
the first mention of him will be the Sashu of Yahweh, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so about 1450 BC, we see his first occurrence.
We don't know that though.
Yeah, and then I don't even think it's Yahweh in that occurrence. It seems to be Yahoo. We always have Yah. Like and this may help you because I like to do a lot of unbiased research, and I was studying the northern location for the of Chaldees, and I stumbled upon these Amorite tribes in the Mari kingdom of Yamhad, and they're called the Beni Yamin. So I like to say that these are the Beni Benjamin. And within this Beni Yamin clan, they have tribe, they have clans that have the theophoric name titles Yah. They also have chieftains, right? Who I find interesting that their chieftains are called David, right? I found that interesting. They call their god Sin, which is a moon god. El Shaddai. I found that interesting as well. But we also see the same moon god in Egyptian worship by Egyptians. We've always had moon deities. When you hear Amos, it's really Yahmos, and they're worshiping. That's a solar deity. Yah has always been a moon deity. So So I don't know. I actually have a theory where I'm suggesting that Yahweh is just another nameless Namina. You know what nameless Namina is?
I never heard that term.
Okay, nameless
That mean
Namina is
that
a term.
sounds what, that's Greek.
No, nameless demeanor is a term to whereas like if you hear in reference to Lord of God, Lord of Abraham, Lord of Jacob, those are nameless aminas. It's not identifying the name of the God. It's just telling you identifying this the spiritual force behind the invisible God. It's a God that requires rituals and deity, but you cannot see his face. I particularly popped in the head when Moses is talking to God or on the mountain, and he won't let him see him. He sees his back instead.
Right. But the term,
That's an example.
where did that term
So,
originate?
so it's an example of nameless Lamina is basically a bunch of nameless deities, right?
No, I'm saying the language. What language is that?
It's Amorite. I think it was found in the Amorite. I'm not sure what language it is.
Okay.
Nomina, but
So I guess
how they,
numus from spirit, numus,
let
so
me
to speak.
let me look it up. I can actually. But yeah, just look it up. Nameless Namina. I would say most all religions, in their primitive stage, their deities are nameless Namina. They are just the forces, and then like you will have some nomadic tribes that would take some of these forces and give it a name, right? So like when we see the Lord of the Mountain, and which is called El Shaddai, I'm presenting a
Nah, that
thesis
would
of
be the Lord who sees, if I'm not mistaken. Shaddai, who sees.
well, Shaddai means in Amorite, Bel Shaddai means Lord of Mountain, right?
Okay, you speaking
So
Amber. Okay.
and so these would be, for example, these nomadic tribes, right, are in the mountains, right? So these Lord of the Mountains is not naming a particular deity, but we do see this deity identified later in the Ugarit text as El, right? So when we see El Shaddai as the epitaph for Elion, right, as the epitaph for El, and El Shaddai's epitaphs for Els, these are, I'm thinking, titles or descriptions of this nameless Namina, right? So I'm working on it. I'm just discovering the nameless Namina myself. You know what I'm saying?
No. Nah, I could go with some of that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why I say like,
Ben,
you
are you
know,
familiar with the concept of the nameless Namina as far as like just the deities?
yeah, just the concept behind it. I'm familiar. That's why I say like some of that, I can agree with, meaning that at one point, all nations, all people, they started with the worship of just one creator.
Of
And
course.
that's when you start seeing consorts and wives given, and that's where the Bible separate. Because if you're saying man and woman is made in the image of the creator, why does the creator need a wife? The creator is the wife, it is the husband, the creator is the child. That's the creation. So that's where we differ from the Canaanites, because they wanted to give our Asherah, and the Egyptians, they wanted to manifest it into different appellations when that's not needed.
Well, you are the Canaanites. You are the Canaanites because
Nah, we were Canaanites in the sense of like I'm an American right now. They were in
you're
the
the
land of
Canaanites.
Canaan, but they've always been Yasharal.
I disagree with that.
And that's just not scholarship. That's not critical scholarship. This is simply not the conversation in critical scholarship. You can say what you want because those are your theological views, but within critical archaeology and biblical scholarship, it's a different conversation that is being had. It's 2026. There's so much of a conversation that's being had in many different ways.
Yeah. So what we see when we look at the primary records, just 10 seconds. When we look at the primary records and the chronological order of things that happen in the Levant, it definitely speaks of I'm not even speaking of what the ancient historians said that speak to the fact. I'm just speaking of what the land says, the history of the land.
What does the
When we
land
look
say?
at when we look at the events that led up to the Bronze Age collapse,
Let's talk
again,
about it.
we see a whole influx of new people groups that came into the area.
So stop
That's
right there.
what the
Let's stop right
archaeology
there.
says.
Gideon, because that's what I was going to suggest. All we're talking about is these Highland groups coming down to the lowlands. That's it. The
Well, they
Highlands
actually
coming
came
to
from
the. Huh?
Egypt. Yeah, they actually came from Egypt, but
I mean, before they even came, before listen, while there are the groups in Egypt, you don't think there's Highland groups, nomadic tribes in the Highlands?
yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
It speaks to even some of the tribe of Manasseh. Again, Joseph's sons, they were very powerful people in the Egyptian order, according to the biblical narrative. So that only makes sense. Again,
You know what?
Dr.
Gideon. I think
speaks to
Gideon. I
that.
think that if you study outside of the Bible, you'd be dangerous because you're open to information, but I think you just stick in the Bible for it. You got to get out of the Bible and look at outside sources. Like when I said Benny Yamina, that didn't click in your head as Benjamin
Yeah, Benjamin,
as a Hebrew.
yeah, right.
So
That's what, yeah.
so brother,
basically.
but these are Amorites.
Okay,
You
see that.
understand what the argument that I'm making to you? These are Benny Yamina are Amorite tribes. These are Mesopotamian tribes, northern Mesopotamian tribes who stay in the area of Haran, and they worship the god Sin. And so it makes perfectly sense when you think about the story of Abraham and Terah, and he's smashing the idols of his father's house and the house of Sin. Like that's the story, brother.
Yeah,
Like,
so you're trying to place Ur or Mesopotamia up in Turkey. That's where your information leads you.
Well, I started at Urfa, right? And you know, Urfa and Haran is only like 16 miles apart. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going with that southern Iraqi, and that's how I started. And I found these Israelite tribes before any type of Israel. Like even when we talk about the Shashu of Seir and Shashu of Yahweh, even then we have Shashu of Reuben. You know what I'm saying? Like these tribes always existed. So I think that these Highland tribes, these Transjordan Highland tribes, are Amorites. You know what I'm saying? Edomites. You know what I'm saying? Especially Reuben. You know what I'm saying? They're Edomite tribes. But specifically when I'm talking about like the kingdom of Mari, kingdom of Yamhad, I'm talking about northern Mesopotamia, which is now modern day Turkey, which is we're talking about Urfa. Urfa is the center location of all of the traffic during this time period. We have the King's Highway going through that. You have all type of trading through Urfa. And if you tell me that Urfa is right there, at least since 10,000 BC, and you telling me that 15 to 30 miles away, you have Haran, Nahor, Terah, all of Abraham's brothers and nephews. And in that same place, you have a tribe called Benjamin that calls their God El Shaddai, brother. And this is historical. I haven't said anything biblical.
Right. Yeah, I would have to look at that. I have to look at that information.
You know, King J, Benny Yamin just means people of the north, right?
Sons of the right. Sons of the right.
Sorry, sons of the right.
Sons of the right. Yeah. And they have another.
Like that means sons of the left.
Benny, I think it's Benny Samuel.
Yeah.
Samuel. Yeah, sons of the left. So I'm researching the actual tribes and stuff, and I'm just looking at the similarities. And they worship a god called El Shaddai.
You see what Kasad is saying in the comment?
I ain't checking out Kasad yet. He said I told Kasad to go look at that. What did he say? No, he's saying it's not Benjamin. That's not even the actual name. That's related to a group. They're related to a group called Sons of the Left. They are related to the Sons of the Left. The Benny Samuel. So like I said, I just it's too much of a coincidence for me to say no, because like that worship their God is called El Shaddai. They're doing Israelite practice.
So are you saying that Benny Yamina are what the biblical texts are referring to as the tribe of Benjamin?
Benjamin, I would make that argument because in the Mari tablets, the Ibn Laban or whatever the name is referring to them as Habaru because they are coming into the city and destroying, the town. I'm like, that makes perfectly sense because in the biblical text, Benjamin is described as this ravenous wolf, right? They're known for looting in towns and these nomadic. So I'm like, that fits the description, you know. So I don't know. So I it's just too much of a coincidence to me to write this off as no. So I'm still researching it. Like I said, this is new. I just crossed upon it, stumbled upon it, and
When you have that source, when they was in the area, what date do you have them in the area?
This is
Might get some heat from me.
this is 18th century
BC.
1800s. Yeah, 19th century, 1800s. Yeah, 18th century. It's basically coincides with the Emirate expansion into the Levant. So that's my argument. That's what I'm working on. I'm coming with a little thesis about it. So it's too many coincidences to be like, And I found Abraham. It doesn't say Abraham. It says Abiram, right? Abiram. He's called a Nazi. You know what I'm saying? I think Nazi means like ruler or something of that.
Chief, basically.
Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's interesting. I mean, I definitely would have to look at that, but
they're not worshiping Yahweh. They're not worshiping El. They're worshiping that God called Sin, right? But they have these different nameless meanings around as well, right? So I'm just trying to figure it all out as far as how, because I'm making an argument that the tribe of Benjamin brought this particular worship and title with them from Mesopotamia into Canaan. So that's what I'm working on right now. But
say that again. Say that again. That last part. What are they bringing in?
The transmission. They're bringing in that title El Shaddai. And the Emirate is Bel. It's not El Shaddai, and the Emirate is like Bel. It's spelled Bel, of course, and then the Shadda, I think. Shaddai.
and that that'd be hard. As far as trying to transfer it from Mesopotamia, southern Mesopotamia, that'd be hard to do. But like I said, I'm gonna check out them people up there though. I never really looked at those people.
You gotta look at the Mari tablets. Don't look up Abraham. You won't find Abraham. Look up Abiram, right? Don't look up Benjamin. Look up Benny. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. You have to be really precise when you're asking or typing in. Right. And go to JSTOR. You won't find it in Google. Or AI searches. You won't find it at all.
Yeah, man, they're gonna get you for this.
That JSTOR. Are you talking about this? No, I got the sources. I got it written down. I'm on it, so I just got to put it all together into where it makes sense.
But you and Kasai had a debate on this already, right?
I remember this a little bit a while ago.
You say,
yeah. That would be
that
would be an interesting conversation for you to have, man. That would be cool.
Yeah, I'm bringing out these sources that I haven't, I'm just, familiarizing myself with. So they seem pretty legit. And so I'm like, okay, it makes sense.
You and debated this though, right, King J?
We didn't debate this in particular. We basically debated the origin of El. Was it is it in Canaan or its origin? I'm always suggesting that El was the original deity of Israel. We see it in the name Israel. Israel. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a prime example of a theophoric name that contains the name of the actual deity. So you would have to tell me why it's not Israel Yah. Israel Yahweh. You know what I'm saying?
That's just the way that the title comes out.
Are you saying that Israel in that instance is a common noun or a proper name?
No, it's
Israel.
it's a proper name, but it's made up
Okay.
of a common noun. When you say El, that's a quote unquote common name for Yahweh.
El is, or is El not also a name of an actual deity?
No, see, that's what I'm saying. When you speaking of that Numa, whatever you were speaking about, certain
That
parts of
name
it
is
I agree
Namina.
with,
Yeah.
because in the beginning we all worship the Creator as El. But then that's when the Canaanites, the Egyptians, they started giving El consorts, and that's very misogynistic, if you ask me. But once that started, that's when Yahweh chose Abraham to separate from the rest of the world, and eventually we get Israel.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean,
Yahweh had a concert too. So that
Yahweh,
can't be
no,
true.
no, no,
Yahweh had a
Yahweh never had a
concert.
consort.
There's a whole study on it, right? So like we
Yeah.
could say that we
Yeah,
don't
that's the whole Bible.
we
Show me
don't
where the
agree
Bible
with.
say that.
Wait, hold on, let me finish. We can say that we don't agree with that study, but to say that that doesn't exist, like we're doing too much, right? Because it clearly says in his Asherah, Yahweh and his Asherah. Now, how you want to interpret that, that's fine. I like to go with the consort story, but you can't just
Right,
deny the evidence.
right. Nah, like I
Yeah.
deny it, and like I say, show me in the Bible where Yahweh has a wife. I yield.
See, that's the thing, right? Because the fact that y'all always have to go back to show me in the scripture when you know that the Bible, by the time it was written, it was under monotheistic ideologies. And what we're talking about is more, I can't even say polytheistic. I forget what the actual term for it when you have a mother and father deity. There's an actual word for it. And that word,
It's
that
Yahweh.
word describes the early Israelites because that's why you're saying that, oh well, they started off as El and then they El got consorts. No, y'all believed in El and those consorts until you became monotheistic in Deuteronomy.
Yeah,
That's
get
what the
that.
history is actually
Right,
telling you.
right.
Deuteronomy 32 verse 8. Yeah, I mean that's where yeah, I mean the sister got a point there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a bad reading of that text when you think Deuteronomy 32:8 is Yahweh giving, how y'all have it, El giving Yahweh a portion of land. That's just bad reading of the
Well,
text.
no, no,
Like
no,
that.
no. I don't say that's El giving him his portion. I'm saying that's Yahweh being assimilated into the pantheon itself. You know what I'm saying? Before
Right,
then, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I
right,
don't think
Right.
Yahweh is the father of El at all.
right, right, right. So
Can I say something
And
real
now,
quick?
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
And say, and now I'm even beginning to think that Yahweh is just a title for one of these just nameless Naminas. I'm really, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just thinking that he's just a title. Even I'm even starting to think that El and Yahweh are just titles for this particular nameless Naminas, right? These particular nameless forces, right? That we can't see, but yet are worthy to be that require ritual and praise. So I'm working on that.
Go ahead, Kasai.
Yeah, I just wanted to get in here real quick. I ain't gonna be able to be on here too long. I'm waiting on Apostle. Actually, we finna do a show, so I'm just waiting on Apostle. So I just came up here real quick because I heard the brother mention my name and King J going in. So I actually I'm not gonna really try to correct the information. I already debated it, so it's really pointless. I like how my information seems to be like the standard of which people gotta keep trying to come back and correct. So the one thing I wanted to get with King J on, because I was trying to get with you the other night when Reggie was on. Like the one thing I wanted to talk to you about the Benu Yamina, right? I want
Yeah.
because I did tell you next time I caught you on a panel, I was gonna rap with you about that after I read on it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but that not only do they go by different names,
Mm-hmm.
they're being called the sons of the right, and
Right. Yes.
they're related, and they're also being called that, and they're related to a group called the Sons of the Left, and that they're referred to by different names. Like Benu Yamina is not their actual that
Right.
actual
It's
people
different. It's
name.
different clans within the tribe, of course. Yes.
Right, right. But I wanted to get that to you, like the information I pulled up was from Cambridge University. I'm gonna share a screen one time, but I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
Those people, those people are, they actually have different names. They're not actually just called the Benu Yamina, and they're related to an Amorite. They're actually Amorites. They're related to a group of people called the Sons of Left, and that isn't their
Yeah.
actual name. So
Yeah.
I don't see the Benjamin connection to that whatsoever, bro. I mean, it's nothing more than just a similar name.
So you don't believe so. What I found was that this actual Beni Yamina group, they worship a deity. They worship the god Sin in Haran, right? And they were calling their deity El Shaddai, right? They're exhibiting certain Israelite practices that we would later see uh, accustomed by Israel. I wrote it down. The one in regards to the ass, right? The donkey, where they killed the donkey in regards for like for a treaty or some sort, right? They're making a treaty, they would take the donkey and that seems to be some sort of Israelite custom. Um, it's just it's so many coincidences, brother. It's just like hard for me to like. And then Haran in itself has a link to Abraham. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is just too incidental for me. I got to do some more research into this. So I'm
Yeah.
still studying it now, but so
Yeah, at the end you
And
kind of
so,
jump. I don't know what exactly you noticed that you kind of jumped from Haran. What I read about the Benu Yamin on, they're in Amorite territory, not Syria.
well, Haran. So you got to remember that when they say Mesopotamia, it's northern and southern Mesopotamia. Northern Mesopotamia is modern day Turkey. So we're talking about the Urfa area. We're going to be in Nahor, and we're going to be in Haran, which is southern Turkey. But at that point in time, it would have been referred to as it was Amorite. It's the Mari kingdom. It would have been Yamhad and Mari to be exact.
Actually,
Within
like
and I think
was
Yamhad. Yeah, and I think
the kingdom
not.
that got absorbed into what
Yeah,
later became Mitanni. And then,
I
but I
yeah.
can't
think
hear
Mari is
I can't
the
hear the
city.
person that's speaking. He real low and it's breaking up too.
Oh my bad. Mari is the city, right, King J?
Yes. Mari, the kingdom
Yamhad is the dynasty that later gets absorbed.
absorbed into the Hittites.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was on the right pages. What you were saying.
Yep, and which is biblically when they're referring to Padam Aram. Padan Aram.
And you saying that Beni Yamina is the
Yeah,
tribe of Benjamin. That's what you're saying.
I'm making an argument.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Simply, all you gotta do is simply change that Y to that J, and it's gonna be Benjamin. What is Benjamin in the Hebrew? What is the Israelite tribe of Benjamin? What does that mean? Benjamin.
Son of yeah.
Sons
It's
of the right.
some,
It's still sons of the right.
hold on, let me see.
It's still sons of the right. Like look, and they're being described as Habaru in the text.
No,
What is the text?
I didn't see that part in them being described as Habaru.
Let me
But
let me get the
once
primary.
again,
Hold on.
yeah, but I'm like I said, I'm gonna get back with you. Like I said, I got a show on that too. But I did also want to say to you, because I don't want to act like I'm talking behind your back or something. Like I'm gonna say something to you that I'm not gonna say in your face. Bro, King J, it seems like you be double talking too much, bro. When I try to talk to you last night, I mean not last night, but the other night when you was on Reggie, and Reggie was low key coming at me. He's using talking about the Meshe Stele, bro. You know you agree with me on the Meshe Stele.
Yeah, we agree on the message. So I don't know what. So Reggie was talking about geography, right? So when he's asking about the location of these Transjordan tribes, they're trans. You know what I'm saying? They're in the Midian area, Midian, Edomite, Seir. You know what I'm saying? These are
Bro,
all
that's not. I'm telling you, I got the show coming up. That's not what Reggie was trying to. Reggie was getting you to agree with him to come at me. He was saying that for one, Jerusalem didn't exist during 850 BCE. I got the audios. You know how I do this. He said Jerusalem during 850 BCE, when the northern kingdom and southern kingdom are contemporary, he said Jerusalem didn't exist. Then he also started talking about that they're supposed to be coming from the south and everything. When in 850 BCE, the northern kingdom of Israel has already been established. It's like
already
5-6
established.
kings.
Yeah. Nah, see, I don't. What he said is what he said. Now he asked me what he asked in regards to the Mesa Stella, and I told him I do remember saying that's 9th century. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of I didn't hear. I was on earlier and then I jumped off, and when I jumped back on, I had missed you and his interaction on the show. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't. I ain't catch.
I'm just saying. It sounded like you was double talking, bro. Like,
No, I don't know what. No. I just answered his questions to the best of my knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. I ain't know what y'all had going on. keep me up out of you and Reggie. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, nah. So, but in regards to that, I still, in geography wise, I think, and that's what I thought he was referring to as just location. In regard to the Moabites and in these Israelite tribes. But yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same page now. I kind of, I'm kind of on the same page in regards to that. I still hold fast to L. Now I'm doing more. Like I say, I'm working on this nameless Namina thing, and so I'm trying to wrap my arm around it. How they're coming up with because the nameless Namina, they're not called a name; they're described by what they do, right? So there are particular Naminas for certain things, right? That didn't exist outside of that particular, what it was needed for. It didn't exist out of that usage. So I believe at some point, some of these tribes combined some of these nameless Naminas and gave them a name. I think Yahweh was one of the names that was given. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm working on. El and Yahweh, actually, because I'm arguing that they brought El into Canaan. So and that's kind of what I'm working on.
Whoa. That would be, I would love to
work on
see
that
the
theory,
information
King
on
J.
that, because like
I'm gonna let you work that theory, brother.
the El God goes all the way back to the Natufians. So how would you then say that?
Mhm. So I see. So what I'm using as my reference is the Temple of Sin in Haran, where these Benjamin, these tribes of Benjamin, also these Amorite tribes, they're calling their deities El Shaddai. They're calling their deities El Shaddai.
Because El was the supreme god of that pantheon before the Yahwist, or the people that came from southern, more southern in the Levant, from the desert area, came and intermingled with those early Israelites.
Yeah, but you're right. But check it out. You got to go back further than that, because we haven't made it into Canaan yet. We're still in Mesopotamia. That's why I said I'm going to make the argument that they brought it from Mesopotamia into Canaan.
So you're saying that the El that was brought into Canaan with the Natufians was actually brought into Canaan from someone from
what date is in the Natufians? What's your date in the Natufians?
The Natufians are early agriculturalists. This is
8,000 BC, 7,000 BC.
No,
8,000 BC.
this is I want to say 20 to 15,000 BCE.
Okay,
like this is the first inhabitants of this area. The Natufians are the ones who started the agriculture in the Levant.
Uh-huh.
The Natufians were the ones that started making beer out of yeast and things like that. And
So would they
then
have been?
when
So would they have been the ones who were responsible for Jericho? Because Jericho dates to about 8,000 BC, and Urfa dates to about 10,000 BC. So I mean, I don't
I
have a
think
problem with you saying.
that they had a part in, but as far as the people that have migrated since then, like you can absolutely, somebody else can come up and say, oh, well, there was a group of people that moved into that area and also helped build
Right.
Jericho. Like, I'm pretty sure. I'm just talking about like the very first inhabitants of that Levant area were the Natufians, and they
Okay.
brought their own gods there.
hmm
You know what I
hmm
mean? And then they turn it into Canaan, and then you get to whatever you want to call the Phoenicians, because I'm not going to argue with you about that. But when they intermingle with those people, and then you get the Israelites later on with
Right.
their scripts. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to say earlier, somebody was saying that El was like a nameless deity or just an energy, and it's just like I feel like that's just so disrespectful, especially since in Ezekiel they talk about how Canaan is the mother. You know, Canaan is the mother of the Hebrews or the Israelites, whatever y'all want to call yourselves.
Mhm.
That's the mother of it. So you can't call these people the mother and then not recognize that their God, El, like you got that name from them. And then for you to be a part of this group and you know who this deity is, you know what the stories are, and then you get into your own and now none of that matters and you get amnesia. I don't believe in that.
Mhm. So you're suggesting that ale comes from the Mediterranean, from Egypt?
No, I never said that. I wasn't even
Oh,
talking
okay.
about yeah, I wasn't
Okay.
talking about
I thought that's what you said. Yeah.
no.
That they got the ale from Yahweh. From Egypt. Because actually I think that they really get very little of their script from or anything out of Egypt. Most of it seems to all be a lot of Mesopotamian, and a lot of later on Greek motifs. When we get to the New Testament in regards to Jesus, we see the wine motifs, which actually Osiris was a god of wine. Romulus was a god of wine. Dionysus turned water into wine before Jesus did. Um, so a lot of those
Dionysus
stories,
is a god of wine.
yeah. Osiris, all of these are so like these
Yeah.
motifs existed before Jesus did. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like I don't think a lot of these stories, they just seem to be a lot of shared culture, in that from that area. Little stories from here, a little Atris Hashish from here for our flood myth. We need a hero myth motif. We take that from there. It's a combination of a lot of
So
stuff. So
I put forth a theory in my debate. I don't know if y'all know GD and Capone. We had a debate about creation versus evolution, right? And in that debate, I proposed the theory of my own that, the Israelites are playing the antithesis to everything that came before. Right. They are taking stories, switching up characters, and creating a new
identity.
meaning. No, but not even just a new identity, a new meaning behind said story. They're switching up. So when the world was a little bit more balanced with the goddess and all of that stuff, here comes these people to tell you that women are evil. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, but I do dig what you're saying. We see that at Sherbi El Kadem, where these Semitic speaking minors, take the Egyptian iconography and attribute their own language to their symbols. You know what I'm saying, and create their own script, the alphabet. So yeah, we do see that with these Semitic speakers as they creating their new identity. I don't see the polytheism, the monotheism. I see coming later when we do see I've always seen Yahweh with the consort. to be quite honest. When we actually do see the depiction of Yahweh, it's always been either with Asherah. I know Kassad disagrees with that. Or also when we talk about the Elephantine Jews, we see Anat, right? We see Anat in Yahweh or either Asherah in Yahweh. Outside of those two occurrences, we don't even see Yahweh depicted at all. And that's where I come back with the nameless Namina at, right? Because now we're just talking about the actual force that he represents, the ability to bring things into existence. So that's kind of where I'm kind of going with that. Everyone said he had to jump off, so we got to keep it going, keep the conversation going to the.
What happened? I'm here. I'm listening. I'm working.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gideon jumped off.
But yeah, it's a queen. So how you feel? I ain't mean to do you like that, sister. You know I love you. I still love you. You feel me? So, but how you feel about after the debate? We really didn't get a chance to do it after or anything or too much discussion about our debate afterwards. I feel like based off of the topic, you know what I'm saying?
What was the topic? I missed that one.
The topic was, did white women create the feminist movement? Are white women responsible for the feminist movement in our country? So I think I proved that. I don't think that she not proved that, or showed that actually black women were responsible for the actual feminist movement. I think she retrofitted the term feminist, tried to retrofit the term feminist on people like, abolitionists. So I actually showed, and that was the case, that white people started the abolitionist movement. And out of the abolitionist movement, the white women's suffrage movement came. And that white women's suffrage movement actually would be considered the start of the feminist movement. So I don't think she disproved that.
So here's the thing. The debate title wasn't if black women started feminism. So if you were looking for me to answer that question, you were off topic. You were supposed to prove that the white women started feminism.
Yes.
And if I was able to show you a movement happening in ancient Egypt, then that debunks everything you're talking about. That's how I
right. And I structured my debate so that I attempted to show that model, that conflict model, the word I love so much, was foreign to us. We don't even have a word to express that as far as Mayat is concerned, as far as the balance. I attempted to show that our traditional models are based on to where the woman has equality. She doesn't have to fight for it.
But this is how you lost, because the debate wasn't if the debate wasn't if black women needed feminism under Ma'at. That wasn't the debate. Like, you were naming things that don't matter to the conversation. The conversation was clear. Did white women start feminism?
1842.
And if I can show you times where feminist movements were happening before white women, then I win.
But those weren't feminist movements. They weren't feminist movements. You can't retrofit that term.
You see how you changed it to now you're saying, well, white women started the white feminist movement. I agree with you. They absolutely
it was a white. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So then,
Okay.
why do we have the black feminist movement then, and to counter that, because it dealt with the
Okay.
sectionality that, right, racism and sexism that the white women wasn't giving y'all. You know what I'm saying?
But what
So,
does that
and
have to do? Like, why are you saying that as if it has to do with the movement itself?
because when I brought up Alice Walker and her womanism, that was to show you that our traditional models were more based off of her womanism, right? That incorporated both men and women. You know, it
Right,
didn't
but
leave
that
one out.
wasn't the debate. The debate wasn't if we had better systems. That's
No,
not
that
the
wasn't
debate
a debate.
topic.
No, those were the points that I brought up just to counter anything that you might do. So 'cause I
Right,
knew
but
that
that
you.
doesn't counter anything. What it does is actually change the topic into if my aunt needed feminism. And that's not the topic. The topic is feminism.
Mhm.
And if you can, like I showed feminist movements happening in Egypt, I showed feminist movement happening in Ethiopia, I showed
Mm-mm.
feminist women talking about feminism in France, all before white women even became a white woman. like, like these things, like it wasn't even white women didn't even exist when they were talking about these feminist movements. But the problem
Mm.
is that because the word itself, because I feel like that's what you're stuck on, and a lot of other people that I've been having this argument with, y'all are stuck on the word feminism and not recognizing the action.
Have you had the conversation since our debate?
Hmm?
Have you had this conversation since our debate?
Yeah, in the comment section, I think I had a conversation with somebody recently who
Mm-hmm.
also took the same stance as you, like, and not even the same stance. They recognize that I brought out feminist movements before white women, but then they don't recognize how white women didn't start it. Like it's just a cognitive dissonance.
So I definitely enjoyed the debate. I think it was one of the better debates for real. To be quite honest, we need to bring some attention to it. I got a little platform. I think I got like 5 or 6 subscribers. I'm gonna post it on my channel and try to boost my little channel up. Might as well. You have a
As you
channel?
should. Yeah, but it's not called It's the Queen, it's called Zula Concepts. But
Okay.
yeah, I am gonna post it on mine. I have a couple of other of my debates up there as well.
Mm-hmm. So wait. So you bomb squad? You
Am I
you official
going
bomb?
for? No,
Yeah.
that's for the brothers. Those is my brothers though. My sweet brother
Okay.
Numsies. Yes. Those
But
those those is there.
for sure. I fucks with him. I fucks with him. Yeah. Yeah. But I ain't no shit. We seeing what y'all was on. Happy time to kill. So probably
Yeah,
finna jump
I'm
off.
thinking about doing a presentation based on it because it's a lot of confusion around the whole movement itself because we kind of
We
stay
should.
away from that topic.
We should because I'm tired of a lot of the same topics,
I have
religious topics that
5.
we have in the
No,
community.
I just missed 2, 3. Oh, and Nadia, 4. Sorry, y'all. Give me a second.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm finna jump off A1. I'm probably jump back on in a little bit. We still up and running.
Everything all right? What happened? They got real quiet.
Yeah, no, I think they dog. You got another show you about to do, A1?
What time is it? Oh yeah, I do got another show.
I just got a notification, that's all.
Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. I got women's tournament. We got the first face off, Megan versus April. Let me go ahead and run that ad. We got It's a Queen up here. She is also in that tournament. Be scheduling your face off after we do this one. I think I'm gonna do at least one a week. We're gonna space it out. It's about to be fun. Let me see. Where are my ads? I'm lost. I'm on my tablet. I don't know where all this stuff at on here. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Coliseum of Arguments. 8 women step into the arena, not to play games, but to wage intellectual combat. This isn't trash talk. This is logic versus logic, sources versus sources, scholarship under the lights. Win a round, win $50 cash. Keep winning and walk out with $500 in the crown. Each competitor represents a brand, an ideology, a team they're ready to go to war on the hill for. Every claim challenged, every source checked, every moment judged. So we ask you, are you not entertained? Enter the Coliseum of Arguments. Only the strongest minds survive. This is Titans Debate League.
Yep, we will be back in about 15 minutes with that. Y'all want to do closing remarks?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna jump on down. I'll be ready for the next one, man. Yes,
all right.
I'll see you there.
You'll be there? See you in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm gonna be a little preoccupied, but I'm always down to support.
Appreciate you. I'll see you shortly.
See you in a little bit.
Peace, y'all. Remember my smile. Remember my motto. Treat your smile like your buddy and never let them steal it. Peace.